Hey, hi, good evening, everyone. I see everyone, very active. Right. I welcome all of you to 30 days free short-term training from Python to AI. So today is our 13th day of the session, right? So, you know, before we start for the day, we'll quickly recap what we have covered in the last day. Then we'll continue to the topic. Right. So yesterday we started with pandas module, right? So we discussed pandas module. So as part of this 30 days Python programming to AI, we are in the phase of Python, and pandas is the last topic of Python. So probably we are going to end pandas. So that means we are going to wrap up Python. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to start a new topic. So we'll be discussing the entire flow once again at the end of the session. Right. So pandas module. What is a module first of all? Module is nothing but it's a collection of variables, then functions, then classes. Guys, I want everyone to use the chat. I want the session to be interactive, so we'll keep it very interesting, right? So whatever the question that I'm going to ask, you should be active and you know give the answer immediately, right? So module is nothing but a collection of variables, functions and classes. This is what we have discussed, right? Yeah. But what is pandas module used for? What is pandas module used for? What is the purpose of using it? If that is your question, for data manipulation, for data manipulation, okay, and for performing analysis on the data, we have to use pandas module. And when it was developed in the year 2008, NumPy in the year 2005, right? So NumPy stands for numerical Python, whereas pandas was derived from panel data. Good. And pandas module was also developed in both C and Python programming languages. Done. To install any module or to install any module, we have a syntax that is pip install module name. Okay, and what is the best practice of installing the module? We have to visit pypi.org repository of that module. It is always suggested that you have to go and visit pypi.org module, to get the complete information about the module, and you'll get this command from that particular repository. This is also clear because from past 3-4 sessions we are learning this command continuously. Why? What is the necessity? Because in Python we continuously work on modules. Okay, but if you don't know the command how to install a module, then how can you work on that module, right? So this is something I'm leaving up to you. So Pip install module name will be the command to install any module. Post installing the module, we have to import the module. We have to import the module. And how can we import the module? What are the different ways to import a module? There are, n number of ways to import a module into your sessions memory. Oh, that is the thing. Akhil, can you please tell us what are the different ways? What are the different techniques of importing a module into the sessions memory, into the code? Okay, let me tell you one by one. The first one is import module. Nothing but import numpy, import pandas. What are we doing over here? We are just importing the module into the memory so that whatever is present inside the module, we can access all the objects, all the items whatever present inside that particular module by referring to that module name initially. Okay, so in this case, for example, if I import numpy, if I import numpy and if I want to use array function from numpy, it will be like numpy dot array. Why? Because array function is present inside numpy. Did you import array? No, right? We have imported numpy. So the syntax will be numpy dot array. Whatever might be the object guys. It might be variable or a class or a function. Whatever might be the object present in that particular module, you have to refer it as module dot object, module dot function, module dot variable. Okay, so that will be the syntax. Okay, what is the second way of importing a module? Can someone use the chat and comment? Okay, I got one more answer. So my friend says import module as an alias name. That is what we have done. We have understood in the case of numpy and pandas. Import numpy as np, import pandas as pd. Okay, so what makes the difference between these two? In case one, I mean, in the first case, am I giving any alias name to the module? No. Whereas in case 2, I am giving an alias name to the module. Okay, so it will be, if it is pandas, pd dot data frame. Okay, pd dot series, np dot array, np dot zeros, np dot reshape. The same pattern. Okay, right. What is the third technique? Come on, guys. What might be the third technique? Just give a try. Can I import multiple modules at a time? Is that possible? Can I import multiple modules at a time? Import module 1, comma, module 2, comma, so on. It depends on you. Yes, we can import guys. So that is what. Either you import a single module at a time or import, depends How many modules you want, you can keep all the module names in a single line and you can import them. This is the third way of, you know, this is the third technique of importing modules. Then what might be the fourth? Simple. Here I imported just one module, and in case 3 I have imported n number of modules at a time. In case 2 I have imported one module and I had given a alias name. So similar to case 2, I'll import n number of modules with, you know, different alias names. Alias name 1 comma mod 2 module 2 as alias name 2, whatever it might be, an alias name, so on. Okay, either you import a single module or multiple modules, or import a module by giving an alias name, or import modules by giving separate alias name for each module that we are importing. Accepted. Everything is accepted. So far we understood this one and this one, case 1 and case 2, syntax 1, syntax 2. But I also want you guys to try 3 and 4. Are these the only techniques that are available, or still anything else is pending, guys? Is anything else pending? If I have friends coming from computers or IT background, and if they are aware of Python, I want you guys to comment. Use the chat. Okay, keep it over the chat. What might be the other syntaxes? What are the other techniques of importing module? Right. So the next one, from module import star. What is this? This is completely a new thing for us. What acts module with particular type? Not exactly, but I think you guys might have, and you guys might be aware of this. From module import star. Okay, let us understand what is this. From any particular module, you are importing star. What does that mean? Okay, first of all, from and import are keywords. Okay, in this line of code, from and import are keywords. And module is nothing but the module that we are using. What is star? Star is a wild character in Python. Okay, in this syntax, whatever you are seeing, star represents a while character, which means import everything present inside the module. Import everything present inside the module. Okay, then what makes the difference between, case 5 and case 1? Here also I'm importing the complete module, right? Then what is the difference between 1 and 5? If that is your question, in case 1, we are importing everything in the module, okay? Along with everything, we are also importing the module as is. Okay, so assume this box is your numpy. This numpy, you are importing everything. Import numpy, so imported. Numpy imported. Okay, now let us understand case 5. This is numpy. From numpy import star. That means numpy package will not be imported. Numpy module will not be imported, guys. The functions variables, classes present in numpy will be imported. What does that mean? It means in order to access any function from NumPy, we need not use numpy dot function or np dot function. You can directly use the function. If this is your case, we can directly use array function, array of. But here you have to mention it as numpy dot array. That means in this case, you should keep it as numpy dot array. I hope it's making sense. Okay. So am I using that prefix? No. In case of fifth case. In fifth case, I'm not using any kind of prefix to the function. The same way happens to variables and the classes that are present inside the module. But whereas in case one, you have to use that prefix, module prefix should be there. Why? You are importing the module as is. But here, from NumPy, whatever is present inside NumPy, import only those. But outside folder, that NumPy folder, you don't import. That's what it is telling us. So I can access anything present inside NumPy by just using the name. I need not use any prefix, not required. Okay, this is also clear. What are the different other techniques that might exist? Okay, I'll repeat one more time. Okay, let me do one thing. Right. So pay attention, guys. See, what makes the difference between import numpy? As an example, I'm taking numpy, okay? What makes the difference between import numpy and from numpy import star? Nothing but asterisk mark. Okay? First of all, in case one, in this case, import is a keyword, right? What does this import keyword does is, it imports any kind of module from local machine to the memory. Okay, so import numpy means it imports numpy to the memory, and you can use everything, whatever is present inside numpy. NumPy is imported as is, and whatever you want to use or whatever is present inside NumPy, you can use them. You can access them by keeping it as NumPy dot array. Assume that I want to work with array function. Okay, I have to keep it as NumPy dot array, right? Whereas in this case, from NumPy import star. From and import are two keywords. It's like English. If you observe, from NumPy, from this module, import star. Star is representing everything, all. Okay, so that means whatever is present inside NumPy. Okay, NumPy has variables, NumPy has functions, NumPy has classes. So only those variables, functions, classes will be imported, not the entire, the folder will not come as is. So what makes the difference here is, for better understanding, If I want to use the same array function from NumPy, but using case 2, I need not use the prefix no more. I can directly keep it as array. I can directly use that function, or I can directly use the variable. I can directly use a class present in NumPy. But here, since I have imported NumPy along with the folder, a module is nothing but a folder, guys. Okay, so if you go and look carefully into your side packages, a module is representing a folder inside your system. Okay, so this folder will be imported as it is. So every time that prefix is mandatory in order to use a function or variable or a class. But here the folder will not be imported, only the objects that are present inside the folder, variables, functions, and classes will be imported, and no more prefix is required to access them. That makes the difference. Is it clear now? Can I proceed? Shall I proceed? Right. So, if you observe, from module import star is what we have discussed, right? This is the fifth way of importing a module, right? But if you ask me, what is the best way, what is the best practice of importing a module? If that is the question, in general, all of these are not a good practice. Then what comes to best practice is you specify what you want. You just import only those objects. In the sense, from NumPy import array. Okay, so assume that I want only array. Whatever is your requirement, it's better if you import only those objects into the memory so that the memory space will be consumed less and the performance will be very fast. I need not explain the trade-off between memory and execution. If the memory is occupied more, the execution process will be slow. If the memory is occupied in less, less in space, the execution will be very high. The process will be very high. It's similar to our mobile ways. If in the case of your mobile, if your mobile space, internal space gets occupied with more number of files or whatever it might be, photos, videos, okay, if it is occupied, will the execution be fast? No, right? In the same way, when you are running an application in your local system, the CPU assigns some memory. It assigns some memory for that application, right? So if this memory is occupied less with less objects, if it is free with more space, then the execution will be very fast. So in general, the sixth case will be the best one, right? So this is the actual thing that you have to understand. So these are the different ways of importing a module, and this will be the best practice. As we go on, you'll understand, okay, how we have to import only the required objects. Everything we'll be discussing in the next sessions, right? So I'll not waste our time. So yesterday we have discussed, series and data frame, the two important data structures present in pandas module, and we also have panel data structure and it is used to create multi-dimensional objects, whereas series and data frame are widely used. Compared with series, data frames are widely used because they are used to create a two-dimensional object, whereas series is a one-dimensional object. A series is representing a column in the Excel sheet, okay, and series values are mutable. We uh, we took a list and we have converted the list object to series, then a tuple object to series, even a dictionary object to series. Yes, but did we try using set? No. Using set? No, we did not. It's not possible. It throws us error, right? So we did not do it using sets. So this is with respect to, you know, series. Then we started with data frame. Data frame is a 2D data structure which is used to organize the data in the form of rows and columns. And data frame is also mutable. Uh, what else we have discussed? And we have discussed the different ways of creating a data frame using a list object, okay, then using a tuple object, a dictionary, an array, a series. So all of these we have understood yesterday, right? Yep. So this is very important, guys. In general, we'll take the data from either files, right? If a particular organization stores their information in files, offline files, might be CSV file or Excel file, okay? So there are readily available functions in Pandas, and we can use these functions to read the data present in the offline files. So yesterday we have understood read underscore CSV function. Read underscore CSV function is used to read the data from an offline CSV file. And what are we supposed to pass? We are supposed to pass only the path. Okay, the file path where it actually resides in our system. And this, what does this R indicate? What does this R indicate in line number 506? Just give a try. What does R indicate? R is actually indicating, it tells that it's not read mode, but read mode comes with respect to uh, open function, file handling, right? Considers single string, okay, okay. But R that is actually present in line number, excuse me. So R which is present in line number 506, it tells that it tells to the PVM, the Python virtual machine, the interpreter, to consider this entire string as raw string. This is a string? Yes. On what basis it is a string? Because it is enclosed in quotations, right? So it is a string. It tells that to consider this entire string in the raw format. Why? What is the purpose of it? Because you see, the file path has backslash and a character, backslash character, backslash character. So backslash and a character like backslash n, backslash t, backslash r. There is a meaning for such kind of special characters in Python. Okay, and what if your path, your file path has such kind of you know special characters? If it contains special characters, then the interpreter gets confused. For example, let me remove r. The moment I remove r, you will see a cross mark. telling that there is a error. Why? Because backslash you might be a special character. Okay, so for that reason, I'm just placing R. This R is actually representing, is it not visible now? Okay, so this R is actually representing to consider this entire string in the raw format. Akhil, I don't want to place R. Is there any other alternative? Yes. Yes, we have an alternative. What are the other alternatives are? Backslash u might be a special character, but I'll just make this backslash u to forward slash. So that means you see the cross mark that was appeared so far. I don't see it no more. It's not there, right? So you just convert this backslash to forward slash wherever you have it in your object, file path. Now you need not keep that smaller, not required. So this is one way of dealing or escaping that Unicode error that we generally face with respect to path. Because for example, assume my name is Nikhil instead of Akhil. Okay, and I'm storing this data inside this. I created a folder with my name Nikhil, and I'm storing this data inside that Nikhil folder. Okay, so backslash n, Nikhil starts with n, right? So backslash n is a new line character. So backslash n will not, PVM gets confused. So that is the reason it will throw us an error, Unicode error. Okay, right. So this is the other alternative. There is one more alternative. You can convert the backslash into double backslash. Single, wherever you have single backslash in the string, convert all of these single backslashes to double backslash 2. Right. So we discussed set underscore index, which is used to reset the index, and head function, the top records, tail function, the bottom records. By default, head and tail returns 5 records. If you don't want 5, you just specify the number of records that you want. Records are nothing but rows, guys. And shape attribute returns the size of the data frame. Describe function returns as the descriptive statistics. So it returns count, mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, then 25th, 50th, and 75th percentages. Okay, 75th percentiles of the data. And describe function only works for numeric data. It doesn't work for non-numeric data. Be careful. Then we have drop function. Drop function is used to drop a particular column from the data frame. Okay, and there are different ways of dropping a column. Here I am just using columns parameter to drop the column, and I did not specify columns, so it gets confused. I'm not specifying whether city is a column or row. So how I have to keep it clear is you can also specify using axis parameter. Axis is equals to 1 represent columns, whereas axis is equals to 0 represent rows. Then the third one is an in place operation. So these two are not in place operation. What does the meaning of in place operation mean is, in place operations are the operations that happen within the same place of the object. What is the object that we are working on? That is data. It's a data frame. It's a table. But if you drop city from data, will it drop within the data? No. No, guys. The data, the city column that you are dropping will be dropped from data and you are storing it to DF, right? So DF will not have city, whereas data will have city. Yesterday I have showed the differences between these three syntaxes. If you don't remember, just go and rewatch the session again. Then sort values is used to sort the values. By default it gives ascending order, and if you want to get the output in descending order, you have to keep ascending is equals to false. Okay, specify the column on which you want to sort the values, then it sorts the value based on the column values. So we are supposed to start from LOC and ILOC. These two are two important topics with respect to pandas. Okay, the data frames. Right. Yep. We can also read images. When key error. What do you mean by key error? I did not understood, friend. Okay, I'll take up your questions later, but let me continue. Okay, so LOC, ILOC. These are two important attributes that can be worked on data frames. Okay, and these two are used for indexing only. Okay, so since this is a two-dimensional object, we have to pass two values. One is for rows, the second one is for columns. Rows, columns, so on. So first of all, let me create a data frame. What am I passing? I am passing a dictionary. So when I pass a dictionary, when I want to convert a dictionary to data frame, the keys of the dictionary gets converted as column names. So the column names will be ABC, and the values becomes the values with respect to rows and columns. Okay, so it becomes a how many rows? Four rows. 4 by 3 will be the size of the data frame. Okay, let me import pandas. See, it's throwing an error. Name error is what I got. If you observe, name error is what I got. Saying that name PD is not defined. I did not define. How can I define it? By importing. So I imported. Now I'll go back. I'll execute. Okay, converted. See. DF is a data frame, size 4 by 3, and these are the values, right? I'm using print function to print the data frame to the console. So this is our data frame. Now, a data frame can also be, as it is mutable, as it is indexed. Okay, we can also perform slicing operation, but using we can get the subset of the data frame by using LOC and ILOC attributes. What is this LOC and ILOC? LOC is nothing but label based indexing. Based on the label means column names. Okay, based on the column names, we can perform indexing. It allows us to select the required columns. Based on the requirement, you have to specify the columns. Okay, and for rows, you have to give either if there is any uh, row name. Okay, here anyways I have row ID. Okay, index. So I can just pass the numbers. But if you have any row name, you can also give the row name. If not, by default you can give the index numbers. But in LOC, both start and stop indices will be included. Guys, this is important focus. Okay, both start and stop indices will be, indexes will be included. Let us take an example and see how LOC works. df dot LOC. Here we have to use dot, but for one-dimensional objects like list or say tuple, whatever it might be, A is a list. A is equals to some 5 integers. Okay. So if I want to Index the first, if I want to access the first element, what will be the syntax? A of nothing but A, then square braces, within the square brace we have to keep the number, right? So that is for one dimension, but this is a two dimensional object, right? Df dot loc, dot is representing hierarchy. Okay, df dot loc of, excuse me, loc of pass two values. The first value is for rows, then after comma the value is for columns. Okay, so what does zero means? Zero is representing zeroth index, so that means this part. Zeroth index means the first row. Then what does column say? Column says A colon B. A colon B, from A till B. Right? So what will be the output, guys? Rows. For rows I am representing as 0. Okay, 0th row, 0th index row, that means row number 1. For columns, I specified with their name, label, names. Column A, column B. That means this column and this column. So what will be the output? The output will be 10 comma 50. Nothing, sorry, 10 50. How come 0 will be written? 0 will not be written. 0 is index. Don't forget. This is index. Okay, by default for a data frame they are indexed. So this is not part of data frame. This is just indexing. Okay, so this should written as 10 50 A B, column A, column B. In the same way, can you tell me the output for line number 546? 0 colon 2 comma A colon C. 0 colon 2. Start and stop indexes are included. So from 0, then 1, then 2. Right? So all of these three are included. Then what are the columns? A, B, C, all of these three. That means this entire thing should be given as output. Yes. Rows of 0, 1, 2 for A, B, C column should be given as output. Good. 10, 50, 90, 20, 60, 100. Friend. 30, 70, 110 will also be given as output, because for LOC even stop index is also included. For ILOC it is not included, so don't get confused. So here it will be all three rows of three columns. First three rows, or let me give us first three rows. Good. Try for line number 547. Meanwhile, I want everyone to try. I want you guys to try line number 547. 0 colon 3. From 0 till 3. Okay. But what is the label that I have mentioned for columns? Good. Good. The entire column B. This will be nothing but column B. Only column B, yes. Then 548. 548. Yes, correct, correct. What will be the output for 548? Good. The entire data frame, all rows and columns, but in reverse order. So from this position it starts 40, 80, 120, 30, 70, 110, 20, 60, 100, 10, 50, 90. In reverse direction. Minus 1, right? So in reverse direction. Good. 549. Good, good. 549, guys. What will be the output for 549? Think. Colon 2, 0 and 2 from A and C is considered. Okay. Good, good. See, in these cases, by default, the step is 1. But here, in order to, make you guys confused, I kept it as 2. So starting from the first position, okay, so this row will be considered. Then the second row will not be considered because I want step with 2. So 0 plus 2 will be 2. So second index row will be considered. But what will be the columns? Only column A, column C, not 3. If 3, it will be like column A, column C. So this will be for all the 3 rows, and for 2 rows it will be A column comma B column. It is not 3 columns, guys, only 2 columns. So 0 and second index rows of A and C columns should be the output. I hope it's clear. Now let us go and execute. Now let us map what is the output for each case. So the first one is 10, 50. A with 10, B with 50. Good. The second one says first 3 rows of 3 columns. Yes. The first 3 rows of 3 columns. Let me do one thing. See, first 3 rows of first 3 columns. Third one, only column B, the entire column B. Yes, all the elements of column B. Okay. What will be the output for 548? All rows and columns but in reverse direction. Why? Minus 1. Yes, good. 549. 0th and second position index of column A and column C. Well done, guys. You guys have done really a phenomenal job. If you understand the concept, whatever might be the question, you can tackle it. Okay, you can nail it, guys, but concept is something important. If you don't understand this concept, you cannot solve any kind of question. Okay, so like how we are understanding the concept in the session, I request all of you to do hands-on post the session. Right, LOC is clear, right? In the same way, we have ILOC. Nothing is different. Only a major part is different between LOC and ILOC. The syntax is same. Df dot, instead of LOC, you'll have ILOC. Then within square braces, the first value is for rows, comma. Then the second value is for columns. Again, it is same. So what exactly is ILOC? ILOC means integer position based index. Okay, we are indexing based on only integers, their positions. But here, based on their labels, you can use the column names, okay, for indexing. Whereas in ILOC, we use only the index positions, right? Then what else is the difference between ILOC and LOC is, in LOC both start and stop are included, whereas in ILOC only start index is included, whereas stop index is excluded. Similar to our range, arrange, okay, similar to that case where the stop will not be included. N minus 1 comes into the picture for ILOC. I need not, explain well. I'll leave it to you. So start with line number 559. What will be the output for 559? This is your data frame. So tell me what will be the output for line number 559. 0, comma, 0 colon 2. This is for rows and this is for columns. 10, 20 says my friend. No, just give one more time. Give a try. It's not 10, 20. Just give one more try. Zeroth index with columns 0 and 1, A and B. Good. It is nothing but 10, 50, not 10, 20. Pay attention, guys. 10, 50. On what basis it is 1050? First of all, for rows it is 0th index. So 0th index, nothing but first row. For columns it is 0 colon 2. As we know that start is included, stop is not included. This is nothing but 0 comma 1 only. 2 will not be included. So 0 is representing A, 1 is representing B. Okay, so that is nothing but 10 comma 50. 10 50 will be the output. Good. Guys, try for line number 560. 560. 0 colon 3, 0 colon 3. So this is our data frame. 0 colon 3, 0 colon 3. What will be the output? 0 colon 3 for rows, which means 0, 1, 2 only. 3 will not be included because it is stop value. As we know that stop value will not be included for ILOC. So 3 will not be included. In the same way for 0 colon 3 for columns 0, 1, 2, what will be the output? I gave a hint as well. I'm executing. What will be the output, guys? 0 to 2 columns with columns. Okay. Instead of columns, it should be rows, I think, my friend. Check. Anyways, the answer is the first 3 rows of 3 columns. The 3 by 3 matrix. Good. Yes. So let me execute. It's a 3 by 3 matrix. The first 3 rows of 3 columns. What will be the output for line number 561? This is our data frame. On the data frame, I want ILOC of 0 colon 4 comma 1 colon 2. Be careful, guys. Stop will not be included for ILOC. 4 and 2 will not be included. So, what will be the output? Entire row for column 1, not exactly. 20, 60, 100, not exactly. Yes, good. This is nothing but, row says consider all the rows and column says consider only column B. 1 colon 2, which is nothing but only 1. 2 will not be considered. Okay, so it will be only column B. Let me execute. The output will be column B. Good. What will be the output for good going? What will be the output for line number 562? Colon minus 1 comma 0 colon 3. So let me show you you know the data frame, and this is our data frame. What will be the output? Hurry up, guys, make it fast. In the reverse direction. Okay, this is with respect to rows. What about columns? What about columns? What about columns? Is it only 0 to 2 means how many columns I am going to get? Good. All the columns of the data frame will be written but in reverse direction. See, if you observe the syntax, then you'll understand. 3210, that is nothing but it was reversed and all the three columns were being written. What will be the output for line number 563? Good, good. The last example. What will be the output for line number 563? For the last time, let us work on this data frame. Colon 2, comma, colon 2. Come on, guys. Two steps of all rows so and two steps of all columns. So what does that mean? What will be the output? I need the output, right? It will be nothing but the first row and the third row and first column and the third column. So output will be 10, 90, 30, 110. See, yes. Good. Okay, so this marks the end of, LOC, ILOC. Here I had come up with a table, and this table actually tells us the difference between LOC and ILOC. For understanding purpose, I have made this table. Even though if you are not that much comfortable in screen, that's okay. Just understand it. So with respect to row selection for LOC, we can go with the label, okay, or even for with the integers. But for ILOC, it is only integers. For columns, we'll go with only labels for LOC, and for ILOC again we'll go with integers only. And start and stop for LOC, but will be both will be included. Whereas for ILOC, start is included and stop is excluded. When should be when should we use LOC and when should we use ILOC? That is the question. When you know the column names or when you know the row names, then we can go and use LOC. And when you know their positions, then we can go and use ILOC. So this is just an explanation, a summary kind of table that we had here. let us jump into the next topic, that is the last topic of pandas module, group by. Okay, group by is an important function present in pandas. So this group by actually helps us to group the data based on a specific column that we mentioned. Okay, it creates a data frame group by object, and this is an iterable. And I'll tell you in depth when we go with the examples with respect to data frame group by object. Right. So for that, I'm reading and reading the data from an offline CSV file. Okay. So and the data I'm storing in data variable. So again, I'm taking the same data that we have understood yesterday, and the size of the data frame is 10 comma 5, and these are the column names: ID, name, age, city, and experience. Based on the city column, I want to group the data, and this group by is present inside pandas, and this group by works on data frames. Okay, data is a data frame object, data frame dot group by of the column. What is the column that I am working on? It is city. Okay, so when I execute this, observe carefully. I'm storing it in grpobj group object, and it is a data frame group by object. What is the size? 3. But when you try to open it, you can't understand anything. It's an object, group by object. Then how can we understand what is present inside the grp obj object? Should I use print? Again, you'll get the same thing. This is referring to the address. Okay, the address in the memory. So as we discussed, it is an iterable. It's better if you go and use for loop to get the values of the rows present inside this group by object. I'm using a for loop, and it returns me the group name and the rows present in this group by object. Okay, so data dot group by of city is a data frame group by object, and in this group by object we'll have the group name along with the rows. For each group we'll have rows, right? First of all, what might be the output? I'm working on city, right? Based on the city column, it groups the records. How many distinct values we have with respect to city? I have Delhi, I have Mumbai, I have Sydney. So it creates totally 3 groups. One group for Delhi, one group for Mumbai, one group for Sydney. How many records will be part of Delhi? 4 records. 1, 3, 4, 7. Row index. Okay. And how many records will be part of Mumbai? 3, 2, 5, 8. How many will be part of Sydney? 0, 6, 9. Again 3. Out of 10, 4 rows are part of Delhi, 3 rows are part of Mumbai, 3 rows are Sydney. So I'm getting all the information for loop. It will print me the group name, then it will also print the rows present in the respective group. See, the first group is Delhi, and it will print group content. What is the content that is present here, and it is printing the rows. So these are the rows that I have inside Delhi. Then the second group, it is Mumbai. Okay, and how many rows I have? In total, I have 3 rows. The third one, the group name is Sydney, because as we are grouping the data based on the city, the group name is Sydney, and these are the rows, 3 rows, right? So this is how you can understand what are the values present inside the group by object. And what if you want to get the nth row of each group? Okay, if you want to get the nth row of each group, you can just use that particular function. As I want the first row of each group, I'm using function called first. data dot group by of city. This is again the same. This will create a data frame group by object, but instead of getting that, I want only the first row from all the groups. For that, I'm using first function, and this first function will capture all the top rows, the first rows from each group, and the output will be stored in first row df. It's a data frame. See, city Delhi, the first group, city Mumbai, second group, city Sydney, third group, and these are the first rows from Delhi, Mumbai, Sydney. Okay, in the same way, what if I want nth row? If I want nth row, you can directly use nth function and specify the value. 0 will return as the first rows of all the groups. Okay, so this output and this output will be same. The output in this both the cases will be same. If you want me to show, let me execute these two as well. See. 231 are the IDs, 231 are the IDs. Riti, Adi, and Jack. So either you can use nth function, then pass 0 as the value to get the first rows of each groups, or directly go and use first function. But this is generally used in order to get nth row of each and every function from different groups, from all the groups. For example, I want fifth record from all the group. Then it will be nth of 4. Okay, so the last function that is part of this group by object, it is size function, which returns the count of the number of rows present in each group. Okay, so this will return me the number of rows present in each group. So it will be 4, 3, 3. Delhi 4, Mumbai 3, Sydney 3. Right? So this marks the end of Pandas module. Right? And from tomorrow, okay, what are we going to do? That is the question that we had in the mind, right? So we have successfully completed Python topics. Python topics were being discussed. Done. What is the next topic? What is the next module in the schedule? Is EDA, exploratory data analysis. Guys, this is completely a new topic for all of you. Okay, so we generally perform data analysis on the raw data, right? We are going to learn EDA from tomorrow. Okay, if you are familiar with Python, okay, again, you may have, if you have knowledge on Python concepts, you can skip these sessions. But EDA, I'm not sure, majority of you might not have, they are not familiar with EDA concepts. So this will be a complete new topic for you. Exploratory data analysis. What are we going to do with respect to EDA? I'll start with a project management methodology called CRISP MLQ. So, in order to do any, any kind of project, might be ML project or AI project, machine learning project or artificial intelligence project, we generally stick to a methodology, right? So that methodology is called as CRISP MLQ. Okay, so CRISP MLQ, I'll start it from tomorrow. Join on time. Okay, post understanding CRISP MLQ and understand the EDA. We'll understand how to clean the data. Cleansing topics will be understood. Right? Then after understanding cleansing topic, we'll go to two important widely used algorithms of machine learning. one is K means a clustering algorithm, and the next one is KNN, K nearest neighbors algorithm. This is a unsupervised algorithm and KNN is a supervised algorithm. For both these two different algorithms, we'll work on two use cases. Nothing but two projects. When I talk about use case, it's representing a project base. How a project will be handled from end to end in real world, we understand the algorithm, then we'll understand the use case. Post understanding these ML algorithms, now comes the important of all the time and which is currently holding the name, it's neural networks. Okay, majority of you, or I should say all of you, are using chat gpt. Yes, Akhil, I'm using chat gpt. Whomever I ask, they tell yes. Okay, Akhil, I don't use chat gpt, I use BERT. Or say, okay, let me say Google's BERT. You mean Google Gemini? Yes. Okay. Even BERT, whatever you are using nowadays, they are built on the basis of neural networks. Okay. So the important of all the time, it is neural networks where we understand ANN, artificial neural network, convolutional neural network, recurrent neural networks. All of these three will be understanding and three use cases, three projects we are going to do. So this will be the plan for the next days. Okay. And might be, you know, uh, if you are familiar with Python, I see majority of you are skipping the sessions, but try to attend the sessions from tomorrow. We'll make it really wonderful, and you guys are really amazing. You are responding for each and every question that I'm asking. You know, thank you for joining the sessions on time and making these sessions very uh, wonderful ways. Yes, neural networks. We'll discuss everything. Each and every topic we are going to discuss in the coming few days. Okay. Now it's time for you and you can ask your questions. Next topic we are using, yeah, we'll be using NumPy and Pandas continuously. So that is the reason we have learned NumPy and Pandas throughout our journey. Okay, in AI, as part of AI domain, two important and widely used modules are NumPy and Pandas. Okay, we'll be using them throughout the journey. Yes, yeah, questions, guys. I need your questions. If you have any kind of technical questions or say, what are we going to do in the coming few days? If that is your question, just ask. Or what are the things that we are going to cover as per the next schedule? No questions? Okay, how many of you have learned AI? Download the CSV file, and in that I have columns as average 2005, 2006. Okay, and try to apply your dropping columns. Good, good. So, do you have any kind of issue? I'm using VS Code. Is it? See, there will not be any kind of issues if you use Visual Studio. But if you are a fresher, if you are new to Python, my suggestion would be Spider. But if you are already familiar with Python, you can proceed. There will be no issues in future. Okay, you can continue. Just continue. I have a question with read underscore CSV. I have already used Google Colab and Jupyter Colab. Okay, but there we don't include R. Hmm. Are you sure, my friend? The thing is, in Jupyter, especially in Jupyter Collab and Google Collab, you are not, reading the data from your local system, right? You have to upload that particular file into the IDE. For example, if you take Google Colab, first of all, you have to upload this CSV file to the IDE, then take the path from that respective IDE and execute. So you'll not have any kind of issues with the path. So you can neglect R. That is the solution. Okay. At this time, the key error is, what is the key error? Raised starting column not available. Uh, can you post it in the comment? I am not clear about your question. Can you raise it in the comment of this video so that I'll respond? Yep. See, whatever LLMs that you are using, Google Gemini or say OpenCV, what? Yeah, Chat GPT of OpenAI, or take Microsoft Copilot, whatever you are using, they are built on top of neural networks. And if you don't know, yes, Meta AI, whatever might be, if you don't know the basics of neural networks, then it's no use, right? So neural networks are like base. We are going to learn neural networks as part of this program. I downloaded the CSV file in which I have the columns, okay, and try to apply drop columns. At this time, the key. Why? Which column you are trying to drop, my friend? See, whatever the column might be, use the column name, then specify axis. Axis is equals to 1. It will for sure remove. It will remove the particular column from the object. Not video while you practice. Acha, even when you are practicing also, you have downloaded the CSV file, right? So you are supposed to first go and check whether you have such same similar columns in CSV file. Okay, get the name from the CSV file, column name from the CSV file, and use it in the Python script as part of your source code. Okay, and specify axis is equals to 1. It will remove that particular column from your source code. I mean, from that object. Right. Any other questions? No questions? Think of if you have any kind of questions in the concepts that we have covered so far with respect to Python. Okay. I wish I want all of you to ask your technical questions. It might be general questions also. Okay. So whatever it might be, you can clarify all your questions now. If no questions, we'll wind up the session. But don't neglect the classes from tomorrow, because from tomorrow we are going to start the actual foundation. Okay, if you maintain this sequence, you are going to complete, or you'll get at least uh, you know knowledge on 5 different projects, how projects will be handled in real time. Okay, how a neural network works. Yes, obviously, my friend, Python is not the best, the bestest, I should say, the bestest programming language, because people coming from we have students coming from different domains. Whatever might be the domain, irrespective of the domain, they can learn one programming language very easily, and that is Python. To be frank, I'm saying this because I have trained many students from different uh, domains. Okay, and whatever might be the domain, they can understand or they can learn Python very easily. The reason is syntaxes. Syntaxes are very easy to remember, and it supports both functional and oops. So, in my perspective, Python is the best. It has multiple modules, it has many frameworks. So everything, not one, I should say, whatever it is providing to us, everything is an valuable advantage. Okay, sure, we'll do that as well. Okay. And before I conclude the session, I really appreciate my friend for asking that question. Is Python the best programming language? Yes. Whatever might be the programming language, guys, until unless if you make your hands dirty, you can't learn that particular language. Okay, what is the meaning of making hands dirty? It's nothing but you have to do hands on daily basis. Type at least 100 to 200 lines of code by just looking at the you take any script, you take a Python program, by looking at the program you type it. Don't copy paste, type it. When you type each and every single word, each and every character of the program, you'll start learning. Okay, when you copy paste, you'll not learn anything. Only you learn is Control C, Control V. What is the use of Control C, Control V? So there is no use. So I request, do hands on. If you focus on hands on, you will rock with respect to any program language, and especially if it is Python. It's within few months you'll be a professional. That is what I'm trying to convey. But the success mantra is, not for sure you have to initially attend the sessions, but after attending the session, whoever does hands on, they will rock. And whoever does not perform or whoever does not do hands on, they'll lose their concepts. That is simple success mantra that I'll tell for any programming language. Hands on. If you perform hands on, if you do hands on, you'll remember those concepts for lifetime. Right, I'll stop the session for today. Okay. And if you feel these sessions are really interesting, they are very fascinating, share across multiple channels, and just hit on the thumbs up button, share across multiple channels. And if you have any kind of technical questions, post it in that comment, guys. I'll respond within a few hours. So that's all for the day. We'll meet tomorrow. Have a great day. Signing off. Bye.